Minasan, konnichiwa, Samurai Engineer desu. In this video, we'll now start solving problems on the set and the rational functions with more challenging questions. So, we will explain each and every one and including the concept that would help us understand and solve these problems. So, let us proceed with the problem set. So, we have here problem that for each of the rational function, we are asked to find the domain and range. So domain and range. What do we mean by domain and range? The zeros of the functions. Okay. That is letter B. And letter C, location of vertical asymptotes and holes and horizontal or oblique asymptotes. Okay. Let us explain the terminologies one by one. If we encounter domain and range, that is more or less about the same meaning, but very, very critical. It is very critical that you understand what is the difference. Okay, what is the difference? Okay. Imagine, for example, example, we have the following graph. For example, we have the following graph. Okay. Okay. So this is the graph. Starting from this point, we have the starting point A and end point B. So we have the graph. This is a curve. Okay. So this point A has what? Has a coordinate x1, y1. And the point B, we have the coordinate x2, y2. Okay. So let us first explain what do we mean by domain. Domain is the values of x that are valid. The values of x that are valid. What is that? So the valid values of x are actually starting from x1 up to x2. These values of x, between this, any values of x, any number that is between x1 and x2, that is valid. So therefore, if that is the case, therefore our domain is this x1 to x2. That is our domain. So how to write down the domain? So the value of x must be what? Equal to or less than x2 or equal to or greater than x1. So our values for x must be what? In between here, in between all of the values of x. Because if we, for example, the value of x1 is 2. If we have x is equal to 1, therefore, it is not on the graph. We don't have a graph for x is equal to 1 because the minimum value of x is 2. So 2 is this value of y. Right? That is what we meant by domain. So it is what? It is the value of x for which it is valid. Right? Meaning we can find the solution for the value of y. So if we plug in the value of x, we can find the value of y. So what about this minimum? If we are looking at the y, we are looking at what? This is the minimum value of y. This is the minimum value of y. So that is the minimum value of y. And in this graph, we have what? The maximum value of y. What is the maximum value of y? Y2. That is y2. This is not y1. Y1 is here. Okay? That is the difference of domain and range. We are now actually looking at the range. Okay? So for example, here, this is point what? D, no? Point D. So this is D and Y2. Okay? Okay? D and Y2. Or Y3. Let us just put this as YD. YYD. Okay? This one. This point. YD. Okay? And it corresponds to XD. No? So we have XD here. XD. But it doesn't matter. No? Doesn't matter. So the range, we can find the range. What is the range? Okay. The range, okay, is all the values of y. All the values of y that would make our so from yd is equal to yd or greater than yd, equal or greater than yd, or equal or less than y2. So this is y2. The range is what? The range of value is from yd to y2. That is what we meant by range. So from yd to y2. Okay? That is what we meant by the word range. It is a range of value. Range of value from yd to y2. So this is the minimum value to maximum value. Similarly here, x1 is minimum value of x, maximum value of x. x1 to x2. This is the range of value. We do not say range of values here because the range of value is used for y. The word range is used for y values, and the word domain is used for x values. That is the difference. They have the same meaning. Actually, they have the same meaning. They are their values for which x is valid. They are values for which y is valid. So if we say the range are the minimum from minimum to the maximum values for which y is valid. That is the range. Domain are the value of x from minimum to maximum for which x is valid. So that is domain. So they have the same meaning, but domain is for x values. Range is for y values. That is the difference. Okay? Okay? So, we can now go back to our next terminology. Okay? What is our next terminology there? The zeros of the function. What do you mean by zeros of the function? Zeros of the function are those values that would make our function equal to 0. Those are what we meant by zeros of the function. If the function becomes 0, then the value of x that would make that function become 0, that is our zero of the function. Okay? Okay? So, what do you mean by that? Here, this our equation. This is our equation, Let us go back here. We have y is equal to function of x. The value of x here that would make the value of y become 0, that is our zeros of the function. Okay? What is the value of x that would make our y 0? In this case, there is none because there is no zeros in this given function. Okay? There is no zeros in this given function. There is none. Okay, sorry about that. We will, we have a technical problem. Okay, so let us proceed.